Howdy, and welcome to It's Raining on My Garage, Broken Tool Garage. Going to start a new segment on the F150 recondition project, and that's going to be taking care of the hole in the bed where a panel was cut out so that the fuel pump could be changed easier without fully dropping the tank. Let's look at that. So that's what we got right there. I'm going to be patching that together. I do have some of the pieces that go in there. I don't have all the pieces. So there's a little bit of missing material. So I'm going to get on this. So here's a couple of the panel pieces here. I'm going to re-weld these back together, which means I need to get these good and clean first. And then of course I got my backer plate right here so I can weld on the table. I was going to show you with that, but I'm being lazy and just going to hold the camera by hand. But that's going to be my next step, get this clean, get these welded together. I have the other two pieces right here that go over that kind of the dog leg area. I'll be putting these on after I kind of get this wrangled right there. Let's see here. I am going to make it to where it's still removable. I'm not going to weld it in. I'm going to keep the same idea of having this panel. And the concept is take some of my steel that I got right here. I got several kinds of flat stock I'm going to use and build kind of a railing system or a system that's sturdy so that these pieces, once welded together, can bolt to these and then be removable as well. Okay, welded together, loosely saying weld there in the most generic of terms. So I did my weld in the back side so that it looks a little prettier on the front side. This is thin metal. My welder's not set up for it, and it is a flux core welder, but it will get the job done. See, that's how you test your weld. Didn't come apart. So that's as good as that's going to get there. Here's the other one. It'll still be warm there. So yeah, that's why I put them on the other side, because they're a little ugly, but I don't care. I did this in 15 minutes. I was not trying to really get everything dialed in. It just needs to stick together. I'm going to clean all this up and get some paint on it just to preserve everything, especially since I welded it. That's going to be a rust-prone area right there. And so the next thing is actually move to the bed. Do the same thing. Get all that cleaned up in there and get it prepared for the new plating to go in. I'm just going to drill holes. I have these little not self-driller, self-tappers right here that I'm going to be using with some lock washers on it. And I'll probably just do this plate. If you notice, there's a gap there. So I think I'm just going to run this plate all the way. Turn my hand, right? See, that's kind of how it goes together. I'll run this up underneath the current bed, and then these are just lay on top of that. Something along those lines right there, and then that'll be braced. And on the back side over here, I'll probably do something, cut these down, do something, that kind of, don't have a spot for that. But I'll need to put something, may have to run that one in like that right there. And then I'll put, like one, these would be screwed down on that, right? Do like 2 screws on the mounting area, and then just one for these plates. So the plate will have 1, 2, 1, 2 right there. Then it can be pulled out. All that can be pulled out, and there's room to work on there, just in case it needed someone wanted to use that to change the fuel pump again, because if they have the truck long enough, they're going to need to change the fuel pump again. All right, well, that's the general idea. All this needs to be cleaned before I get there and get the truck cleaned, get everything drilled and fabricated, and then go through and let's see what kind of paint we're going to use. All right, well, not going to use K&N, not going to use high temp. Engine paint, not quite the right. Ooh, hey. What is this? And we got rust reformer right there. Ooh, that's looking good. Anything I do, it's going to be a sore thumb, because what I wanted to do was just actually pick up a like a bed patch panel, but I couldn't find one that had the same profile, and then you get right back into the ugly stuff right there. Probably not going to do black. Gray's always a good color. It's like, hey, you know, I have been messed with, so we're going to come in and do a little gray. There's some red I could use. Charcoal gray right there. I don't know. I need to do those wheels anyway. Let's look at the wheels. So these are the wheels I'm going to go with, because the factory ones are they're coming apart. I think I'm going to go ahead and paint these white, so I might just go ahead and pick up some white paint. That way I'm prepared with my paint when I get ready to do all the wheels right there, right? And just do the same white paint on both of those and be done with it. Okay, here's a general idea right there. Put that screw in on the valley part so it doesn't stick up any higher, so there shouldn't be anything grabbing hold of that. And I got plenty of flange here to work off of to mount to the truck side and then to the plate side. And I'll just put a few more in there, and then we'll get to the other side and get that mounted in there too. Okay, that's what I'm talking about right there, is getting it up there and squared. I did have a couple spot welds in the bed there and there. I had to drill out, and that's right where I want to put the screw, but we can work around that. So that plate's shoved up in there pretty good, and it's shoved over to the side. Given that's where I want everything to sit, I'm going to go ahead and drill those. That way I can get that locked into place. So whenever I pull it back out, all I'm doing is I'm just ready to clean it, right? Another thing, I want to put a couple of supports there, and there to help support those plates on the other side over here as well. Okay, as you can see, I got the supports in there and all locked down. Those little self-tappers also have a lock washer up underneath the head to make sure that it locks in place and doesn't back out. Okay, so now I need to play cleanup right there. So I still have this piece to clean and get some paint or whatever on there, something to make it not just look pretty, but prevent all the rust that's in there as well. Okay, how did we turn out? We're coming up on it, coming up on it, coming up on it, and there we are. So what I ended up doing is spraying all these edges here with rust reformer, and then the piece itself, I sprayed it with that Rust-Oleum truck bed, rubberized truck bed encapsulator stuff right there, right? No, these aren't going on the truck. Those are going to another project after I get this one out. So anyways, yeah, that looks better. I do want to put like a bed liner in here to kind of help cover that up. Unfortunately, you know, I'm trying to stick to a budget on this, and they don't hand those things out like candy. So hadn't figured that part out yet, but we'll get to it.